What's up, guys? It's your boy Zawoki back out with another Chris Watts video. But this one I don't think I've ever seen because somebody messaged me like 2 days ago about this video. And this one was the Devil's Mistress NK. Oh, the Devil's Mistress. So we're going to be taking a look at this video from Crime Catalyst. If you've not gone over to her channel and give her some love and subscribe, comment, like, and share, she's got a whole bunch of content that is definitely filled to the brim of goodness when it comes to crime, and she definitely needs the love and support. So before we go any further on my channel, make sure you guys are subscribed by hitting that white bar icon down at the bottom right. Hit that bell icon next to it, so when I do post videos like this one, you guys will get that little ring notification that I've posted that video, and then you guys can watch, comment, like, and share. And again, I thank you guys also very much for that love and support. And with that being said, let's get into the video.
It's me.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, you thought I was talking about Nichol Kessinger.
Why was that? What are you talking about?
I'm actually talking about Amber Frey.
You came to me in December and told me that you...
All eyes on the hot blonde sweetie with baby voice. But she was the one that didn't know about the other woman. And I shouldn't say other woman, because she was the other woman, Amber Frey was. But she didn't know about the wife. She didn't know that he was having a child. He tries to say that now, but Nichol tried to compare herself with this woman. She wanted to see like net book deal. Like she was looking to see if she could score in on this murder by making a book.
Lost your wife. What was that about?
Which is who Nichol Kessinger compared herself to. If you look back at everything she was telling the detectives and the way she tried to control the narrative and control how she was perceived by the public, it's so obvious that she wanted to be the next Amber Frey. This girl had her eye on one thing.
Money! Lust, money, root to all evils. She is no Amber Frey, that's for dang sure. Far from it. My fiance took my pens.
While each case is unique and the details of their crimes differ, there are many unsettling similarities that stand out. Both
Scott Peterson and Chris Watts, when secret affairs become a deadly catalyst.
Scott Peterson and Chris Watts hid their true selves from everyone. Both led secret lives while appearing to be loving husbands. They were blessed with beautiful wives with whom they had agreed to expand their family with. Lacey was pregnant with baby Connor, and Shanann planned to name her first baby boy Nico.
And it was also confirmed that Nico was Shanann's idea. Chris wanted to spell it Niko. Shanann wanted to be Inco. I don't know if it's a coincidence that was Nichol Watts, close to Nicole, but it was confirmed to be Shanann's idea about the name.
Both families appeared to be living the American dream until tragedy struck that shocked the nation and left lasting scars on the families and communities involved. Perhaps it was the
$500,000
responsibilities of fatherhood or the burdens they perceived their marriages imposed that led them down a path of no return. These tragic stories both started with these men making decisions that led to them breaking their marriage vows. Scott Peterson began an affair with Amber Frey, and Chris Watts.
But when Scott Peterson was doing his affair, there was no social media. There was not going on the computer. A lot of things were more driven to newspapers and so forth. So it was a lot harder to mess around with people and not know about the other half of their life. Now you can just Google pretty much anybody and you'll find majority of people. Some people have gone out of their way to make sure that they're pretty invisible, NK, but yeah.
Started dating Nichol Kessinger. On top of the pressures of growing their families and having a baby on the way, now they have additional pressure with the guilt of these relationships, trying to navigate their secret lives and maintaining these affairs. Unfortunately, the
Sounds exhausting.
wives were seen not as partners, but as obstacles to the lives these men envisioned for themselves. Both men wanted to be free of their pregnant wives and start a new life with their mistress.
It's called separation.
Although there are many similarities in these two cases, the mistresses are not one and the same. They are polar opposites.
I had contacted Modesto Police Department on Monday, December 30th, 2002. She met with detectives and gave information about...
I thought that was Nixon. Oh my gosh. I thought this was like an old clip and it was Nixon. I'm like, why is Nixon on here?
the relationship.
16 years later.
Again tonight with that explosive new interview. The woman who had an affair with is speaking out just days before he's sentenced to life in prison.
Yeah, that's right. Her name is Nichol Kessinger, and this is what she looks like. She's a woman who worked in the oil business and in the same office building as Christopher Watts.
Of course, the biggest difference in these two women is the fact that Amber Frey knew nothing about Scott Peterson being married, but Nichol Kessinger knew everything.
She's talking about her romantic life with Christopher Watts, even up to the moments he
For the first time tonight, Nichol
And then she thinks she's got problems with YouTubers. The news broadcasters were all over it.
Kessinger is agreeing to show her face and tell her side of the story. Kessinger says Watts first saw her in the break
Her side of the story is poppycock.
room, and then in mid-June, he came to her office to introduce himself.
Amber Frey was a single mother who was fixed up with Scott Peterson through a friend.
See, she came forward like this. NK did not.
First of all, I met Scott Peterson November 20th, 2002.
She said when he spoke to me, he was very soft-spoken.
You know, when you look forward to hearing from somebody and seeing them again, and that, you know, that excitement's there, and you could, you know, it, you know, all felt very good.
He appeared to be a good listener.
Really thought she had Mr. Right.
I really liked him and felt really good about where things were going and our conversations and time spent together.
Since Amber Frey had absolutely no knowledge of Scott being a married man, she was completely innocent of any wrongdoing.
Again, 2002, we didn't have all this stuff.
This was before
I was to say, during 2002, we had to tell our parents to get off the phone or the computer so we could call our friends. Because you had to use dial-up and then you had to... So we didn't have all this crap.
Social media. Facebook didn't launch until around 2004 and
Really?
didn't really blow up until about 2008. Amber really had no way of knowing that she was dating a married man. But then the world became more complex with each sunrise.
Amen to that one.
In 2018, more than 3 billion people were logged onto Facebook and other social media platforms. And we all know that Kessinger visited Shanann's Facebook page often. She couldn't lie her way out of that one, although she did try. But her phone data said otherwise, proving that she had to have known that Chris and Shanann were not on the brink of a divorce. Shanann posted about Chris pretty often and even talked about her pregnancy.
She posted about him every day. Chris, Bella, Celeste, baby, Chris, Bella, Celeste. It was just like clockwork. This woman loved to show her success. She loved to show her loves, her children. And, I mean, heck, Dieter was on there too. And the Ruseks. And, like, there's not a way that Nichol would have never been able to go to the website, Facebook, and see all this stuff. But that woman had a scornful face on her. She was pissed. She was upset that she didn't get to have Chris 100% of the time. Until Shanann left to North Carolina. Then she got a little taste of that. And then when Shanann came back, she didn't want to lose that. So she was trying everything under the sun. And at the last part of it, when she couldn't get Chris, she made the statement, I think allegedly, we can't say for a fact, she said it's either me or it's your family. Or I'm gone kind of thing. We don't know, but let me know your thoughts.
Amber Frey was totally clueless about Scott Peterson's life, but Kessinger kept tabs on Chris and Shanann. She knew all of the details about their day-to-day lives. Of course, she claims Chris was lying to her, but even if he was, which I don't think he was,
Nope.
she knew the truth.
She was lying to him.
Kessinger says Watts deceived her, though, never wearing a wedding ring and lying, saying he was in the final
He didn't wear his wedding ring because he actually lost enough weight where the ring kept falling off.
stages of a divorce.
Scott told me he was not married. We did have a romantic relationship.
She says they started dating, and they started seeing each other 4 or 5 times a week. He even asked her to help find an apartment, claiming he and his girls needed one after the divorce was final.
He was courting her. They had a whirlwind romance in the few weeks they knew each other.
He made me believe that he was doing all of the things that a rational man and a good father would do,
She was his girlfriend, and she thought she had met the man of her dreams. She was truly happy with him.
Amber Frey handled this situation completely opposite.
Oh, yeah, she did.
There's no doubt in my mind that had she known Scott Peterson was married, she would have walked away.
Oh, yeah.
She wouldn't have played games and manipulated him into believing that his wife was some kind of a monster. She wouldn't have pressured him into a separation, to the point of even planning the divorce. She wouldn't have given him an ultimatum and asked him to choose between her and his family.
When I discovered he was involved in the Lacey Peterson disappearance case, I immediately contacted the Modesto Police Department.
When his family went missing and it was everywhere on the news,
She came to the police on her own volition.
Kessinger says she realized he'd been lying to her, and she called the Weld County Sheriff's Office the day he was arrested.
So the day that Chris Watts was arrested was not the day that Nichol Kessinger found out about Shanann and the girls being missing.
Day
she
one.
actually spent 2 days pretending to not know what was going on. I say
What?
this because a married man that you've been pressuring to leave his wife has just told you that his family is missing, which is basically what you've been wanting all along.
She has a point.
And you don't suspect anything. During those 2 days, Kessinger was worried about herself.
Exactly.
And how she could stop this from getting out.
Didn't want to
She
lose.
listened in on Chris's conversations with detectives so that she could find out if he was a suspect. And the only reason that she asked him to stop calling her or to back away was because she knew he was around friends and she was afraid that they would wonder who he was talking to. Amber came forward immediately, even after she was brushed off over the phone. She called back to make sure that it was known that she believed she was dating the same Scott Peterson whose wife was missing. She agreed to record her and Scott's conversations to help investigators.
Nichol didn't.
Kessinger was planning on how she could hide her and Chris's conversations. She thought her nudes were safe, tucked away in a calculator app, and she deleted their text and phone calls. She also broke her SIMS card, just in case all else failed.
And you did not know that prior?
But she's innocent until proven guilty, right? I don't think so. This shows
You found
guilt.
that out via the newspaper articles, and that caused you concern.
Well, I just realized that he was lying to me, and I was like, well, if you can lie to me about this, what else are you lying to me about?
What did that cause you to do with your phone, though?
Oh, what, when I deleted those? I was just kind of grossed out by him, to be honest with you. I was just like, I don't know what's going on right now, but you just lied to me, and I don't want to see this come over my phone anymore. So I removed it. I deleted all of his stuff because he lied to me. I mean, that's what it was. It was the hurt that made me delete it, and then it was the lie that made me start questioning everything else he'd been telling me for the last few days.
So just for context,
yes.
When people delete stuff off phones, usually we go, hold on a second.
No. It
And
wasn't.
that's why I wanted
It wasn't malicious at all. He lied to me. It just hurt. Like, I had never felt like he'd ever lied to me before. And it was a big lie. I mean, telling somebody that you're in the midst of a divorce and then you have a wife that has a 15-week-old baby on the way is a huge, huge thing. And I was very taken back, and it was hurt.
You knew it.
I deleted it. I had a few more quick things to say to him.
You can tell Amber had a sense of guilt and felt
empathy,
remorse, even though she wasn't at fault. She seemed very concerned for Lacey and her unborn child.
I am very sorry.
She cried.
very sorry for Lacey's family and the pain that this has caused them.
If I'd have known, not even all the truth, but like obviously some of it, I wouldn't have even engaged in any of this in the first place. And it just, I mean.
Kessinger only showed emotion once during her interview, and I believe there was a very specific reason.
And it was completely bullcrap. Why? They're so little. Like, they're right here. I knew exactly how tall they were right here.
For it.
Disgusting. I'm so ashamed of him and everything, and I just. God, it's so sad, and she's pregnant. They're so cute. They're so little. Like, wow.
To me, it felt like acting. So I started paying attention to what they were talking about before and after her meltdown. And also,
I've seen better acting by toddlers.
Some things in between that the agent mentioned.
I don't even know anymore what is real and what is not. But what I do know is it's just like, you know, that wasn't fair to me either, because if I'd have known, not even all the truth, but like obviously some of it, I wouldn't have even engaged in any of this in the first place. And it just, I mean, and that's the part.
So just before her meltdown, she talked about how this wasn't fair to her and how much of a negative effect this would have on her. This seems to be her main focus. She showed zero concern for Shanann and the girls or Shanann's family and friends, and how tragic this was for all of them.
I take a step back and it's just like, I didn't know. Like, he's so disgusting. I'm so ashamed of him and everything, and I just, all those little girls, they're so little. They're so little.
You know, one thing I never noticed before, as many times as I've watched this video,
she looks at the camera.
I guess I've always been fixated on Nichol while watching it, and I never noticed that Mr. Kessinger down in the far corner is crying with his daughter.
I'm sorry that you're talking again today. I really am. I don't want to put you through any more trauma than you've already been through. There is...
excuse me, what? You said trauma? What trauma did this woman endure? I don't see any absolute any trauma besides probably the trauma that she had inside said bedroom. We're not going to name things, but you know what I'm talking about. I just think it's so hypocritical for him to tell her. I'm not going to say hypocritical. It's just disgusting. Trauma? What about Shanann, Bella, Celeste, Nico? The trauma that they had. They suffer. Well, I shouldn't say, I don't know. But smothering is not an easy task. Strangulation is not an easy task. It's not quick death. They had trauma. What trauma does NK have?
Reasons for everything that we're doing today.
Did you hear that? There's a reason that we're doing this today. Like I said, very specific reasons.
Interesting.
So why are you doing this interview?
And that's why we're here, because we need this video. And that's why we're here.
My theory is that they need this video to be able to prove that Nichol is upset and that she's having a hard time coping with all of this.
Unfortunately, we didn't know yesterday what we know today, and that's why we're here, because we need this video.
I believe this was pre-planned during a previous conversation, and Nichol was told, look, we have nothing to show that you are a victim. If we had a recording of you crying, we could get you set up with Hazel, the victim advocate, free of charge, but we don't have that yet.
And I'm sorry, I genuinely am.
So could all of these interviews that she had done been in a ruse? Just pretty much lights and camera work? Interesting thought.
I'm sorry, these are not things that we like to do twice. It's the same thing with other types of victims from other crimes. We want to do it once and we want to be done.
Asking for her phone records was making her feel like a suspect? I wonder why!
Look, Nichol, You're gonna get the title of being a victim. All you
She's
have to
the
do
worst
is
mistress.
just show us this one little meltdown, and we'll get Hazel in here, and you can be called a victim.
Because I know it's hard to talk about it. But
it's so sad, and she's pregnant.
And, you know, on our end, we didn't...
They're so cute. They're so little. Like, wow. Why? Ow.
Okay, you're doing good. Just keep it up and make it believable.
Well, I don't even understand how you could, like, bring yourself to do that to somebody who's, like, that big.
Oh, this is good work. She's like, is it still recording? Okay. And watch her stop crying within, like, not even a minute.
Wow. Okay, that was really good. Your dad came over and hugged you. That was just like the cherry on top. Okay, Nicole, I'll let you be the victim.
We talked a little bit earlier about getting some help for these things, and we can provide that. Okay. I really. Do you want to step out for a minute?
No, I just need to chill with my eyes closed for a second.
Nicole wanted that title of the victim so badly, and she put on a pretty good show to ensure that she got it. All of this was leading up to one very important detail in this case that Kessinger was extremely reluctant to talk about. In fact, she says she has no memory of it at all.
Let's keep going, because we're just getting to the meat of this whole
situation. Let's get to the phone call.
Not even 30 seconds. Cleared up his day.
On Saturday from 9 to 11. What did you guys, or pardon me, on Sunday from 9 to 11?
I don't know.
Sunday night.
You guys had a nice meal the night before. You knew his wife was probably coming home late that evening.
Oh, you know what? I still don't remember what we talked about. Honestly, we talked about so much random stuff. Like, it's so hard to pinpoint some of these
It's been said that Amber Frey was a victim of Scott Peterson.
She is.
She was not a willing participant in any of it. And unlike Nichol Kessinger, Amber Frey did not try to play the victim card. Nichol Kessinger exaggerated and even fabricated her victimhood to gain sympathy, avoid responsibility, and to manipulate others.
It's like, that wasn't fair to me either, because if I'd have known, not even all the truth, but, like, obviously some of it, I wouldn't have even engaged in any of this in the first place. And it just, and that's the part, for me, just, like, on my personal level, outside of everything that is happening, that is going to affect me long term. It's like, I'm going to wake up every day and know that, like, this mom and her unborn child and these two little girls are not around anymore. And
how about you find a man that has nobody, no family, no ex or girlfriend? Find the single ones.
It breaks my heart. It is so, God. And then I have to think about, like, the consequences of his actions and how they affect everybody. My name is about to be, like, slandered for probably a while.
Yes, it is.
But I would not be surprised if it's...
We're 7 years in almost, and your name is tainted like the bottom of people or Satan's shoe.
It's gonna be hard to go out in public sometimes for a couple of years, and that really hurts me. I'm just like, this is a horrible, horrible thing. Like, how dare you? And people aren't gonna understand that. They're gonna say, oh, you're the woman that had an affair with this man who took out his whole family. And I take a step back, and it's just like,
damn straight.
I didn't know. Like, it's no. Like, it's.
Who believes this?
Her relationship with Chris would be portrayed as the motive, just like in Amber's case. She knew people sympathized with her and that she was a witness for the prosecution. She knew that the outcome of Amber's situation worked out well for her, so she wanted to make her story similar to
Don't hate me? Oh, we're beyond that.
She tried to spin the narrative into something that was so far from the truth.
I am very sorry for Lacey's family and the pain that this has caused them.
She's one of the people listed on the prosecution's witness list.
I don't know what to do. I didn't tell them that I was a witness. I didn't tell them anything about that.
I just wanted to help, she said. With a pregnant woman and 2 children missing, I was going to do anything that I could.
And I pray for her safe return as well. I respectfully beg.
My dad and I just had to do some damage control. Just say no comment. You do not need to talk to them.
I am a single mother, a 23-month-old child.
I need you to do this. I asked them if they would be courteous enough to take all the pictures that we had of each other off Facebook and social media. Pretty much just said, if mediators contact you, tell them no comment.
I would appreciate to my friends and acquaintances.
A lot of people were like, hey, please call me, I don't know what to say.
To refrain from talking about me to the media for profit or recognition.
Did Nichol say sorry ever? Sorry that I had possibly been the reason why this family is not here anymore? Nothing.
All sorts of texts from people that were like, media's trying to contact me, I don't know what to do.
Kessinger basically revealed her own lies in her Google searches. She tried to say that she wasn't in love with Chris Watts.
Oh yeah,
that
she
it wasn't
was.
that serious. But she Googled marrying your mistress and spent hours looking at wedding dresses. She lied about so much. The fact that she was Googling Amber Frey on August 19th, only 4 days after Chris Watts was arrested, showed what was on her mind and in her heart at that time. She wanted to know about Amber Frey's book deal and her net worth. She wanted to know if people hated Amber Frey.
Trying to find out how to do all this without spending all my savings. Saving up for
Oh, she didn't want to spend all her money?
house. I'm just like, damn it. Well, since they fired me, hopefully I can get unemployment for a little while. I need a job.
One of the things that I'm curious about is, will Nichol Kessinger write a book? I mean, she copied Amber's story. Maybe she'll copy her book too.
She's
I bet
still
she will
incognito.
use it as a reference and maybe try to stick to some of the same talking points.
He was actually, there was a vigil for Lacey. I mean, nobody knew where she was. I guess the vigil was hoping she would come appear. Somebody would find her, that maybe she just took off for a couple of days. And he was so arrogant that he actually called you. And at that time, he was fishing around trying to figure out if you had heard anything, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And you hadn't. You weren't, I mean, a lot of us are busy. We're living, and we don't sit around watching the news all day. This is a news clip I wanted to show from that period of time.
On Monday, Peterson was backed into a corner by his former mistress.
Right, her secretly recorded telephone conversations.
The mistress is why wrong case. The mistress, or Amber Frey, is the reason why Scott Peterson got caught. The police already had Chris Watts in the sights. And the bombshell evidence that or the bombshell wording or statement that Nichol gave that DA said she had, we're still waiting on it 7 years later. We don't know what bombshell evidence he had or statement she had.
Continued to grill Scott Peterson.
You've lied to me since day one.
You're a young girl, single mom, kind of a romantic, hoping in your life that you would meet somebody, you know, that you could spend the rest of your life with and share your life. And that's how you entered the relationship, and that's how it was represented to you. So
Absolutely.
the idea even to say mistress was appalling that they would say that. So, and you would know, one would know that if you read the book. A great book. I know I'm pushing. We have to take another break, Sean. Signal.
I haven't read Amber's book. Maybe I should, so that I can compare it in case Kessinger ever decides to come out of hiding.
She'll never
and
come
sell
out.
us her story. Can you imagine? Going on 10 years in the making. The infamous mistress tell-all.
I got my mind on my money on my mind. Got my mind on my money. They get it, gotta have it, had to take it all. Man, if they let me, I'm a money. Put some on.
Money and lust is their greed.
They fired me, hopefully I can get unemployment for a little while. Finding a job is the big task. You know, that's why I told her, she's like, why don't you reach out to some of your friends, you know, if they're about a job? It's like, well, oh yeah, so I need Hazel to help me out with this lease and sell my truck and change my entire life, and hopefully somebody somewhere will.
She has none of those.
Chance and not
Wait.
judge for all of this.
Signs of victim mentality. Always blames others. Oh, this is what she thinks that she's a victim. Always blames others. Rejecting solutions. Recognizing as a victim. rejecting change, negative outlook, birds of a feather flock together. Same girl, same. Anticipating negativity, inferiority complex, feeling sorry. I don't think she feels sorry at all. Negative feelings, helpless and resentment, escaping the situation. She went to her safe house, got out of Dodge for a little bit. Yeah, okay, she's not involved.
Disaster.
Yeah, you caused.
You're hoping that she knows why Watts did it.
I try to be like, why? I try to come up with a why. If they're gonna dwell on it, though,
You.
they're gonna try to use that as his why. I don't think it's his why. I really don't.
She says, I don't think that.
What else could it be? Oh, he wanted your car? He wanted your 401k? No.
There is a logical explanation.
Two devils. Two devoted wives. Two mistresses. One is innocent. One is guilty. One question. When are you going to tell her story? She's never going to tell it. She likes right where she's at now. Probably alone and with a few friends. So please let me know your guys' thoughts about how is it fair to Nichol Kessinger that her life is ruined. It's all about me. It's all about what she wanted. But yet Nichol is innocent. We shouldn't look at Nichol at all. They have their man, correct? This even points it out even significantly more. And for those that keep telling me that she wasn't involved, and like I had a live the other day and I said like a yes or no question. I can't remember what the question was, but 13% said yes, and the rest, or 70, or what was it? 87% said no. I can't remember what the question was, but nobody would tell me yes. The 13 people. Everybody could tell me no, but the people that said yes, they couldn't tell me why. And I really want to know why people think that Nichol Kessinger wasn't involved. Like, there's so many different things that point to her. How? Amber Frey is innocent. She was helping out. She brought Scott Peterson in, pretty much folded and said her piece. What did Nichol do? Besides fake these videos for her gain, as like the guy said, we need this video. We need to make it look real so you can show emotions that, oh, she is grieving. She is a victim. To save her butt. Again, comment down below. Don't forget to go over Crime Catalyst. Give her some love. Subscribe, comment, like, and share. And with that being said, please take care, be safe, and as always, keep nerding on, and we will see you guys in the next video.